Hello and welcome. I'm Uday Pratap Singh. You're joining us on NewsX. Let's make a start with our big focus this hour, which of course remains on the NewsX Business World panels on the Indian economy. Yes, our special show that we've of course been carrying out since the last few months, talking of course about the current state of the Indian economy, the impact of the absolutely unprecedented lockdown and COVID situation, and how now to get growth back on track. We have, as always, a Power Pack panel joining us live today. Niharika Nigam, Director of Jumping Heights. We also have Anuj Goel, Managing Director of Goel Ganga Developments, joining us live. PK Kurana, CMD of Quick Relations, joins us live as well. Rohit Nandwani, Chief Operating Officer of Hammer Audio, is with us live. Raghav Gupta, Director of Kanchan Metals, is also joining the panel. And as always, we have Dr. Anurag Batra, Chairman and Editor-in-Chief of Business World. Welcome all of you and thanks so much for being with us on the broadcast. Niharika Nigam, let's begin with you first. What kind of trends have you really seen over the last few months? Obviously, there's been an adverse impact on multiple sectors, although there have been certain positive growth trends as well. What have you observed and how have the last few months been like for you and your group?
Okay, so I basically come from an adventure tourism industry. We have a bungee jumping platform in Goa and Rishikesh, and I remember that when lockdown was being imposed in March, we still had so many queries still come in. And I remember the last day that we did shut down operations in Rishikesh, we still had a lot of queries going. But now things have absolutely reversed. When people have been sitting at home for a couple of months, there is a lot of paranoia that has kind of set in, and there is a lot of ambiguity on the part of travelers at this point in time if they should be moving out or not. And we also conducted a survey a couple of months ago, to ask people when they would really like to move out and if they would be traveling within India or outside. So, luckily for us, of course, they are in favor of traveling domestically at this point in time, but they don't really, most of them, about 70% and above, didn't really want to travel till the end of 2020 at least.
And Niharika, if I may ask, uh, if I were to extrapolate the next 2 months, this is, September, October, very good time, right, for bungee jumping. It's ideal weather, So tell us, do you see your business growing in the next 2 months, or you seeing it as being a marginal business? Just 2 months.
Honestly, we always, every year, we remain shut during monsoons, first of all. So we would be opening in October. We are opening in Goa in October. But our queries have diminished by a huge number at this point in time. And we honestly expect business to be very, very marginal even when we do open. That is the case with all of our fraternity in Goa also. When I talk to our counterparts within adventure or even experiential travel within Goa, all companies related to that, they're not really very, very hopeful about it right now. It's just even one or two people coming in right now is going to be probably a bit surprising, but our queries have diminished to a great number.
Yeah. So I'll tell you, I'm doing a conference tomorrow, and it's a legal 40 under 40 conference. Around 30 of them are speaking, but the 10 of not are not speaking, and 5 of them are traveling on weekends because they want to kind of go out. So people have started to travel by car by weekends.
Yes.
So do you see the entertainment economy or the experiential economy or the travel economy coming back in the next 6 to 12 months, or do you see it as a very, very long road ahead?
Honestly, I think that our first instance of probably seeing some decent kind of business, hopefully, would be probably next summers. But to go back to what we were before lockdown, we don't expect it to happen before 2022.
Okay. Anuj Goel. Anuj, what are your opening remarks? Uh, how has your business been impacted? Has the economic stimulus from the government reached you or some of your fellow entrepreneurs? Give us a sense of what's happening with your enterprise. Anuj Goel?
Uh, at first, at first, I would like to thank the government of India and our Prime Minister Narendra Ji Modi, who have announced the Atmanirbhar Bharat Yojana at the right time. This was a shot in the arm for the struggling economy. I think by giving this yojana, it has helped, giving a breather for the struggling economy. And I feel in the real estate sector also it has helped by giving the moratorium period for the interest and other things. So I feel the the stimulus thing that we are saying, it has really helped us in a good way.
Okay. And when do you see real estate picking up? When do you see residential real estate picking up? Because, most millennials have stayed at home and they now realize the value of having their own home. The parents may push them to buy homes because also there are savings for a lot of people who are working and who have not gone out dined, who haven't gone to Niharika's bungee jumping place. They have a lot more money than they used to have. So do you really see residential sales? Maybe today the Shraddhs are ending. From tomorrow, the sales getting up. Tell us a bit about how do you see real estate revival?
So we are already facing and seeing a good growth of residential sector improving currently in this month. So our laborers are reverse migrating, and because of that, the construction have actually started back. If you talk about the state of Maharashtra, so Maharashtra state government has already helped us, giving us a discount of 3% on the stamp duty, which has helped reviving the complete business in a good way. So the market has really started improving, and there's lot number of bookings that we are seeing in this month. And if you say, with the Pitru Paksh effect of the 17 days or the 15 days that we were facing, that has all started coming back. People now, I think the Pitru Paksh of the 15 days really didn't matter. We had a good number of bookings in this 15 days also. So with the help of the state government giving us a good discount in the stamp duty and other things, it is already a good market, I feel, in terms of residential currently.
Okay, okay, that's a good point. PK Khurana, why don't you come in there? On of course the impact that you've seen to your sector of the last few months, but also how beneficial has the government's financial stimulus package been, sir, in your view, and also various state governments, leeways and incentives. It's obviously something that Anuj Goyal has appreciated for his sector. What is your view on it, PK Khurana?
Sir, good evening, everybody. I'm thankful to you for inviting me on the panel. Government is doing its job. Government is trying to help various sectors, and various sectors have already grown also, even without the help of government. Take, for example, IT sector. Take, for example, the agri sector. Take, for example, the vehicle auto sector. So, certain sectors have been growing and contributing to the growth of economy. Certain sectors have been hit also. So, we know pandemic has hit certain sectors. Pandemic has made certain sectors grow very, very fast. Those who thought they will grow in 5 years have grown in these 3, 4, 5 months and grown exponentially. So government stimulus plus the pandemic situation, which has forced people to innovate, to think newer ways. So it is not just the new normal, but also the newer normal that is coming into the picture. And I believe with the IPL starting soon and the festive season at hand, we will still see economic situation reviving and growing. Only thing is, if suppose the rate of deaths increases, then only we may get hit also. Otherwise, we are into PR and marketing sector, and into we are focusing on pharma, agriculture, and F&B, and all these sectors have been growing, and we are getting good response from our customers, and our customers are getting good response from their customers also.
Mr. Khurana, I hear you, but let me ask you, IPL starts tomorrow, there's Diwali 2 months later. We know temporarily things will look better. There is the wedding economy, which will come back in some way, not in full bloom. But do you see this?
Exactly.
Do you see this boom or this clawback as temporary? Or do you see a W-shaped recovery, which means we grow a little bit and then we again come down? What's your view on that, Mr. Khurana?
I don't think that we will come down again. The bottom has been hit already, I believe, unless, as I said, I would again like to qualify my statement that unless the death rate increases, there will be no bottom now. We have already touched the bottom, and the economy will grow. And I believe this. Yes, you are right that it will not be the pre-pandemic situation, but yes, there will be growth, and we will see growth.
Okay, Rohit,
because I would just add one sentence, because many people have not spent anything during these 4, 5, 6 months. So there is money like people which is idle, which they would like to spend. So I believe
they may want to save it for a rainier day. And
yeah, I was just going to add that. PK Khurana, do you believe they'll spend it, in this Diwali, or they'll keep it for when the vaccine comes?
Absolutely.
PK Khurana, you want to quickly answer that before we move to Rohit?
Sir, it is not that they will, you are very right. I'm not saying that they will spend all the money, they will keep for rainy season also, because this is the, in a way, survival season. Then there is revival season, and then maybe we thrive. So survive, revive, and thrive. 3 stages तो होंगी ही होंगी. I believe revival की situation आ चुकी है, and people will start spending.
Okay, Mr. Khurana. Rohit, coming to you. Tell us how have your businesses been impacted? What is the pivot you've taken in your business, and where do you see the business and economy going? Rohit Nanmani?
Yeah. So few of the industries are facing demand challenges, and few of the industries are facing supply challenges. So as Niharika said, so they are facing demand challenges, as in not a lot of people are coming in with queries with us. So we are into electronics. So we design and manufacture headphones and earphones. So we are facing supply challenges. So if we consider our sales numbers from March to June, our sales have gone 3x. So there is a huge spike in home entertainment segment, as in like people want to sit at home and enjoy their movies in their nice headphones. Or even if IPL is coming, they would want a decent home audio segment, so they can entertain themselves within their homes. So we are facing a lot of we are getting a lot of demand from market, but the issue which we are facing is supply challenges. So this supply challenges is because of the political tensions between India and Vietnam and China. So the products which we manufacture, so all these products are actually assembled in India. So they are not manufactured, they are assembled. So right now, all these products are getting imported from China. So that's our take on us. The demand is still growing for us. We'll have to sort out the supply chain issues as
well. On demand, I do a show, I run a media company. So, being on camera sometimes is part of my work. And, doing Zoom calls, whether you're a student, you're a parent, exactly. You're a professional. So, people need headphones, people need accessories more than ever. I'm using audio accessory and so on and so forth. So tell us, has demand been more than it was before March, or, it still can be better?
I'll tell you exactly as you said. Now a lot of, so we face, so we get queries from coaching centers, so that they need all headphones for their students, or we are getting queries from schools, as in they want to get all the Zoom meetings and give them a package together. So now people are using 3 to 4 audio products. For example, you would need a separate earphone for a workout session, separate for a Netflix movie, separate for a Zoom call, because all 3 have different purposes. While on a Zoom call, you would need a better mic quality. While working out, you would need a better fit. So
two follow-ups then to you, Rohit. One, you're saying obviously people want to invest in this because they're spending a lot of time with themselves, so they want their personal experience to be enriched, which is why they're purchasing this. But disposable incomes are going down. Now, has that hit your sales as well? The fact that disposable income is going down, which means that maybe people won't spend, on items like this, or have you seen a trend which is different, that people are spending on audio equipment and earphones and headphones and home theaters, etc.? That's one. And secondly, is another trend, and have you adapted to this online selling as well? Have you ramped up your digital presence in the last few months as well, considering that obviously your walk-in sales are less and online sales will probably be more in the last few months?
level. So talking about trend, the trend is going upwards. So now we have a higher responsibility. So that's what we tell our team. So if a person is trusting us with their money in this hard times, it's up to us that we give them best of the bestest products. So we engage with them, talk to them, what type of products do they actually require. So our interaction with them has increased. And talking about your second part, online, so our interaction with them has increased because of online. So for online, earlier we had given the distributorship to a few companies who were selling online. So for example, Myntra, Amazon, because we pitch our products as fashion-oriented products. So Myntra was a decent portal for us, and Amazon was a portal. But so the concept of D2C, direct to customer, is rising as a lot of people are on internet. So now customer is trusting us directly. So we have seen we have grown our website from 0 to 20-25 lakhs a month of sale within 2 months. For example, a person is trusting us more than Amazon. So a product which is listed on Amazon and a product is listed on our site. So if we are giving them a better engagement channel, so they are like motivated to buy from us. And talking about the offline, so our offline sales number has dipped nearly 70% because bigger cities. So we are present in Chroma, and most of the Chromas are in mall, and the mall's footfall has reduced by a substantial number. So I don't think we would see this trend for offline changing. I think until Diwali, this trend isn't changing for offline, but online is on an upwards trend.
Thank you so much. Raghav, let me ask you, you heard all your fellow panelists. First of all, how has been your business last 6 months, and how do you see the next few months?
Thank you, Anurag. Thank you for having me on the show. Actually, I think we've benefited in terms of sales because of the pandemic, because, we are a B2B company which is supporting food manufacturers. And food manufacturers, especially those who are into packaged food segment, have seen a huge spike in sales because all of us at home are wanting to, meet our unmet need of going to a hotel or a restaurant by consuming packaged food. It could be snacks, it could be frozen food, it could be ready meals. And as a result, all our customers, the food producing companies, the brand owners, they've had to ramp up their capacity, and as a result, they're requiring more machinery. And we as a machinery manufacturer are benefiting from that trend, as we're able to sell a lot more now than we were earlier, because suddenly there is this need to have quick delivery of equipment to ramp up capacity. There is also a need to start machinery, which was planned to be started a little bit later. And there are more and more companies who are actually entering into the packaged food space because they've realized that food is an all-weather, all-season product, which is able to even survive the pandemic because it's never going to go out of demand. So I think we've actually benefited from it to a large extent. We're definitely selling a lot more than we were earlier.
Yeah, food is one of those industries that has kind of blossomed because people are spending more time at home. Food is a kind of a discovery they have. And even for essentials, the consumption has gone up. Plus, the do-it-yourself economy. People are cooking themselves. They're learning new culinary skills. So really, food is a sector that has blossomed. Our Prime Minister's vision of farm to fork possibly will at some stage reach to fruition. Let me bring in Rohit back into the conversation. Rohit, if you had to look at the economy as an entrepreneur and kind of calibrate it for your own business, how do you see the economy over the next 12 months?
Over the next 12 months? So right now, for 6 months, I see the economy shrinking. So this might be, so pandemic is going on. That's a separate thing. That's some primary thing, sorry. So we'll have to look at sector-wise analysis. Which sector is growing, and we'll have to fix challenges sector-wise. So it's really hard to create demand. Like I'm not a subject matter expert on how to run demand. Talking about small businesses, people have started spending a little. So I'm sorry, I'm not the right person.
Right. So there's also uncertainty. Right now, I don't know who knows how to get demand back.
Yes.
Someone
yes.
knew. He'd be a very...
We are going to be looking forward. We are going to be looking forward much more in detail after the break as well, and getting a timeline from our panelists. But just a couple of follow-up questions. Raghav, to you first. Now, you spoke, of course, about the fact that considering you're connected to the food market, your business was largely unaffected, and obviously food did fall into essentials. But right at the start, I'm sure you did face supply chain hurdles and logistical hurdles due to the lockdown. How do you mitigate that? And also factory closures. At that time and even now due to COVID, and obviously stringent, I'm sure, SOPs that you put in place. How are you mitigating that, and how did you mitigate that in the lockdown?
So actually, we obviously improvised in that situation because we realized that initially the demand is going to be for products which are more centered around ensuring safety in food factories. And while we did have some struggles with restarting our manufacturing operations, I think we were based out of our manufacturing being based out of Uttar Pradesh. We had pretty clear guidelines in terms of how we are to operate our plants. And once those guidelines were in place, we improvised and we came out with a new product range, which was more focused around, ensuring personal safety and hygiene at food plants. And since the sales channel was the same, we were able to quickly get that product across to interested parties, and that helped us stay afloat in that time. And at the same time, we also supply a lot of equipment from our OEMs from all over the world, be it Germany, Japan, US. So we had a lot of plants which were supplied before the pandemic at our customers' sites, and our customers were naturally wanting to start up those plants, but we were not having any support from original equipment manufacturers on site in terms of presence of their people. But thankfully, we have a team of trained engineers who were able to start up these plants by themselves using remote services such as video calling or getting manuals or getting support online on software. So with a little bit of improvisation, I think we were able to pretty much
get over the hurdles and hiccups. Okay, Niharika, a quick follow-up question for you as well, based on your opening comments. Now, you were speaking, of course, about how your business has been affected and whatnot, but obviously, bungee jumping, river rafting. Now, these are all experiential things, right? You can't do them virtually, or you can't complement it virtually, even though a lot of things have moved online. So then, in this regard, how did you keep your consumer and customer connect going in these last few months, knowing the fact that you offer these experiential activities which cannot be offered virtually? How do you keep your consumer and customer connected?
Honestly, we've seen an increase in the number of mentions because of social media throwbacks. I think people have been cooped inside their houses for so long that they have felt a need to kind of revisit their most important, most nostalgic memories, and they have been throwing back to that. So basically what we've been doing through this entire period is we've been basically pushing out our customer experiences, whereas on the other hand, previously we would push out our own videos made by us, which was strategically like an ad. Here we didn't have to do that because our previous customers were doing that for us. So that is how we kept them engaged. Now, of course, we are talking about opening and how and what the traveler needs to really be doing, because I know even if people are traveling out, there is such a fear that people are a little ambiguous about how their entire experience is going to be, how companies are going to ensure safety. So right now, that is our brand communication.
Okay.
Also, how do you make it more safer from a hygiene standpoint? I think that's the biggest challenge for every business, is to be able to do it, but more than that, be able to communicate and give comfort.
Yes. So we have submitted a 4-page safety protocol to the Goa Ministry of Tourism, which is the Goa Tourism Development Corporation. And only after their approval did we really resume operations and did we really ensure that we would. And this 4-page protocol basically included, spoke about every point of contact that a customer could potentially have and how we will be tackling it, including, suppose, we used to have handmade food in our cafeteria, which we have discontinued. Now, all we will be having is basically your sodas and, cold drinks and Bisleris or whatever. So, we've gone to the extent of kind of outlining how we will be tackling even the consignments that come into the site, which they will be sanitized before stocking. So, firstly, brands have to be prepared, to be questioned about the last detail when it comes to the processes here on out.
Okay. Anuj, another follow-up for you as well. Now, before we take a break, I think we're almost at our break time. Now, you spoke about demand and whatnot, and of course, moratorium, but I have to ask you about prices as well, because a lot of people watching this broadcast as well are very concerned with real estate prices. Have you seen them? Has there been a downward spiral in real estate prices because of the lockdown? Were there distress sales happening or not really? Obviously demand has gone down a bit for now, but it's picked up, as you said already. But have prices come down because of the last few months and the terrible impact of the pandemic?
I feel the demand was little less during the initial beginning of the lockdown. But after that, what we've realized is that people have started realizing that the need of home is there. So all those customers who felt that they were living in a rental apartments are now coming forward and realize that they need their own house. So
What about prices?
demand
Are prices coming down or are they the same?
demand has been not gone down as per se as today's market, but prices have not gone down. Prices have been there where it was. There is no discount, but yes, like I said in my earlier this thing, we have certain discount from government for stamp duty, and also the rate of interest from the bankers have gone down to starting from 6.9% to 7%. That's all-time low of a rate of interest. So the pricing from a buyer's point of view towards the project has not been gone down.
It's time now to open it up to some larger questions. And for that, let's go straight across to Dr. Bhatta. Dr. Bhatta, over to you.
Thank you. I want to ask you three broad questions, and Uday and me will keep interchanging. My first question is to all the entrepreneurs on the panel: is what is that one thing that has got rewired in your brain? That's one skill, one thought process that you have learned, and as Rishabh calls it, your lockdown lesson number one. So that will help you live better, will help you do your business better, and be a better person. So let me start with Anuj Goel. What is that one thing you learned in lockdown that will help you do your business better?
But I feel any business will run very successfully and with a greater success is only when a businessman does not have a great or a big loan on his head. So the debt ratio should be very less compared to the business that he is doing. Is there one thing that I learned in this pandemic situation?
Okay. And also, there's one more thing we've been saying. For the first time, entrepreneurs are thinking costs have to be lesser than revenues. So clearly, it sounds very simple. It should be true all the times, but it wasn't. Rohit, your one lesson that you imbibe so that going forward you do even better.
For us, human management was the most important lesson which I learned. So everyone was focused on cost saving. So given everyone was at home and all of the employees were scared, would their jobs be, they would be having their jobs or not. So once we gave them assurance, your jobs would be there. So they spend their considerable time strategically turning around the companies, because marketing strategies, product strategies, distribution strategies, everything had to be changed. And this was done by people. So I think we learned that human management is the core thing. You can make any business profitable if you have right set of people.
And if they're rightly motivated.
And rightly motivated.
And if you're compassionate with them. I keep saying we're in a 3C economy: compassionate / caring, collaborative, and contactless. So the collaborative and caring has to start, everything else follows. Niharika, your top lockdown lesson.
So, I think empathy, basically, I realized is the most important organizational skill any entrepreneur can have, because at a time like this, it really takes that for a team to really stay bound together, because these are such uncertain, difficult times.
Thank you so much, Niharika. And empathy for yourself is also very important. Self-care is important. No, I mean it. If you're not going to be empathetic to yourself, forgive yourself for any mistakes, or as long as your intent is good, you got to be empathetic to yourself also. Even in a plane, they say first put on your own oxygen mask. So if you're not yourself well, you cannot look after an organization. You cannot look up. So you have to be empathetic to yourself. I really mean it. Raghav, your lockdown lesson number one?
I think for me it would definitely be, the importance of digital marketing. I think, just being in front of your customer, it doesn't necessarily have to be physical presence. I think what's important is to be, occupying their mind space. I think it's very important and crucial to keep on sharing information. You never know when it's gonna benefit you. So I think even for a B2B hardcore industrial product for us, I've always underestimated the power of media and digital marketing. So I think that has been the biggest
Thank
learning.
you. And to people like you, Raghav, I want to say it's you should advertise in good times. You must advertise in bad times.
Right.
That's
right.
what I really mean, because you need it even more. Mr. Khurana, your lockdown lesson?
Two things. One is people management, because people had to work from home and it was a new experience for them. Some people didn't have the kind of arrangement at home to work from home efficiently, so they had to manage various things. So we had to be sympathetic, empathetic towards them. One. Second thing is, many of the customers needed our support on being on the social media online, because they and their staff were not equipped that way. So we went extra mile. We trained our to train our customers people. That helped us. That helped our customers also. So this was a very good lesson for us.
Thank you, Mr. Khurana. Let me ask you my second question, which I normally do at the end, is when do you see the Indian economy coming back? 6 months, 12 months, or 18 months? And explain your answer.
Well,
why do you feel that? We'll start with
18 months.
And also elaborate whether you're saying it's 3 months, 12 months from now, or from when the vaccine comes out.
I
Why don't you
think
start?
between 12, between 12 to 18 months, the economy will come back to the situation where we will find it satisfactory. Not 3 months, not 6 months. It is not a short-term gain.
So you are saying 12 months.
And why? Why? You have to substantiate.
12 months. 12 to 18. Because people will start feeling normal during that time.
Okay. Niharika, when do you see the economy coming back in full bloom?
So because I come from the tourism and adventure industry, I think it's not going to be before 2022 till we see.
You clearly don't include getting married as an adventure, so that will be back very soon.
No, I do not.
But you're talking of bungee jumping and experiential travel. Okay, so you see a long road for that.
Yes.
Anuj Goyal, I'm not just talking of real estate, I'm talking of the economy overall.
No matter how positive we become, and we hope the economy to get back to, in a progressive mode in another 6 months, 1 year. I think we should talk and we should see that the economy should stabilize. Is what I feel, and I think another 2 quarters or 3 quarters, we should see that we are moving towards stabilizing the market.
Okay. 2 quarters is 6 months. So at least 6 months stable. I would add another 6 months or maybe 12 months is what you're saying. Rohit Nandwani?
Yeah. So I don't see economy bouncing back to normal levels anytime before 12 months or 18 months because we have been in a shock. Like the 2 months deadlock gave the economy a complete cut. Like talking about the manufacturing sector or other sectors, they were in a completely deadlock. So if I talk about myself, if I want to travel with my family abroad, I'm not doing any time within 12 months. Even after the vaccine comes, I'm not sure what things are safe. The travel has stopped. Everything has stopped. So your behavior has changed. You have been adapted to this behavior. So it will take at least 12 to 18 months, at least on the lowest end.
Okay. Let me go to Raghav Gupta. Raghav, your view?
I think, sir, it's really going to be largely dependent on how soon the vaccine is distributed to the entire country. It's not just about taking the vaccine yourself, but also having that comfort factor that people around you have also taken the vaccine. I think, and when we read in the papers about the development of the vaccine and the companies in India which are aiming to produce it, there really isn't much clarity by when they'll be really able to get this across. So I think to make a safe bet, anything in excess of 12 months for sure.
Okay. Uday, I was thinking about a show and I added two more dimensions. Let me ask you that if you had a choice between being rich, being famous, and being healthy, what would you prefer? Let me start with Raghav.
I would say being healthy for sure.
Okay, that's an obvious choice. You can't be wealthy or rich if you are not healthy. But explain to me, what is the change in your consciousness? So at the end of the week, we have to have a new consciousness after COVID. We need to relook at everything we do. For example, my mantras are less is more, never say never, and last but not the least, this shall too pass. So, these three very simple, basic things guide me. Tell me why being healthy is so important. We know, of course, we want higher immunity, and being healthy is always good. I'm sure you hit the gym. But tell me, what is the change in consciousness? That is the question I'm asking.
I think, it's when you're in a lockdown and you spend so much of time with your family, you really realize how valuable your family is to you. And I think the need to be healthy stems from there, because you want to be healthy to be around your family for as long a time as possible. And I think, there are small things, at least I can talk in my own case, as you said rightfully, a need to get fitter, a need to basically live a healthier lifestyle, live a cleaner lifestyle as well. I think it's been ingrained in our heads now how important it is to, just do simple things like wash our hands and wear a mask. And, I think what's also another change that's happened is, you started listening to advice a lot more than you were earlier, because people are really spelling it out for you that, look, this is what is good for you. This is what you need to do if you want to, continue existing. And I think this ability to listen is definitely a change which has happened.
And I think, apart from, of course, just physical health, Raghav, expanding, the health point and argument, it's also people's, priorities towards mental health, and emotional health at this point as well, apart from this.
Yeah.
Right.
So I would like to say it is not just the physical health, but the mental health that is far more important, because we've seen people going into depression, people going disappointed and taking extreme steps also. So mental health has taken priority over physical health also. Yes, physical health is important. Nobody disagrees with that. But along with the physical, people have started doing things to be mentally strong as well. So whether it is yoga, whether it is meditation, whether it is breathing exercises or happiness courses. So there are so many things that have come up during this pandemic, and people have started changing thought process and going towards the mental health also. Yes, you raised a very valid point, Mr. Uday. I thank you for that.
Thank you so much, Mr. Khurana. I know you've written a book recently on Indian...
I believe Mr. Anurag would like to add something to this.
No, I just want to say, I know that you utilize this time to write a book. It's a time to rewire yourself. It's a time to ask yourself fundamental questions. Why do I exist? What is my purpose? What do I do right?
It is basically on
not right. So it's a time for introspection. I love when Raghav said it's a time for listening. I think it is a time for listening. When you listen, you get feedback. Feedback helps you improve. And I think it's important. Going on to the business and economy side, let me ask Anuj again. Anuj, you've seen the government doing its best. It has controlled the pandemic to an extent it could. It did a great job with the lockdown, with the economic stimulus. What else do you think the government can do to spur the economy? As an entrepreneur, what is your ask of the government?
So there are three things that I would wish that the government also look into. So the moratorium period which was given to everybody, to every sector, that interest amount now, which has been ended last month, should be now capitalized to the loan amount, is what I feel. So, second point, what I feel is that the NPA period of the 90 days is also getting very crucial. That should be extended to 180 days for every industry, every sector to revive. And my third point is, sir, the mission and vision of Make in India by our Pradhan Mantri was something which was there. I think the current situation, if you see, to revive the economy, we should have more and more of industry set up. For that, we would like to have a blueprint from the government. It's something that would help to grow the economy, sir, is what I feel.
Okay. Rohit, what else the government can do apart from what it has done?
Okay, so talking about specifically about myself, so we import a lot of products from countries like Vietnam and Germany. So during pandemic, so on 1st April, government passed a norm to support local manufacturing. So they passed a norm within the lockdown period, and with the stick said within 6 months you'll have to set up your manufacturing plants here. But these things can't happen overnight. Like we are small scale businesses, so for us to run, there has to be some bigger companies who come here, which establishes this ecosystem. Get companies like Apple. So they are getting companies like Apple. So I think government is doing a part of their role. So they're increasing the custom duties. They're increasing the barriers to entry.
They're incentivizing you for manufacturing in India, so the real Atmanirbhar happens. All you're saying is give it a little more time, be realistic about what can be possible in a certain period of time.
Exactly.
That's what Rohit is saying. Raghav, what can be done by the government to be able to help your industry?
I think so. In terms of our industry, I would say if they can incentivize some critical activities, especially like research and development. I think if I look at the technology which exists for food production outside of our country, I've been to several countries. I've seen large-scale food plants. That technology is at a much higher and advanced stage at where we are right now. So if our manufacturers, companies like ourselves, have to develop and reach that level, we need to have a lot of hand-holding support from the government in terms of technology transfer, in terms of encouragement to do research and development. I think on the taxation front, if the GST on the products which we sell can be lowered compared to the import duty on equipment, it would also help customers make a choice for buying locally made in India products. So I think a mix of these things in terms of the taxation structure, in terms of incentivizing research and development activities, as well as marketing us Indian manufacturers on a global scale, so that it attracts companies to look at doing joint ventures and collaborations in India with a view to technology transfer. I think that's going to help us a lot.
Thank you, Anuj, Rohit, and Raghav, for giving very specific suggestions. Niharika Travel, our Prime Minister, has talked about the India that has been undiscovered. And he said that when the pandemic goes away, we must visit in different parts of India. As you know, the number of visitors we get is smaller than a city like Paris gets throughout the years. The revenues I don't even want to go into. So how do you think the domestic travel and inbound, can be strengthened? And if each Indian starts going to Indian destinations, I think it will build a cluster economy, a local economy that will have its own ripple effect. So what are your suggestions to the government, Niharika?
So firstly, I think at this point in time, companies need to understand that the main issue has become the scarcity mindset, which has been kind of gotten integrated over the course of this entire lockdown. That is something that we will have to be dealing with. But from the government's perspective, I think borders need to be opened up, because at this point in time, what is happening is that all states are kind of implementing their own rules for lockdown, for entry, and for all of that. Having some kind of standard
it's a
policy.
Patchwork pandemic.
Yes, it is. It is becoming like that, and having some kind of central policy around all of this would be great. It would really kind of streamline a lot. And it would give a lot of clarity to potential travelers as well. So this is, of course, point number one. Secondly, again, moratorium that was given for the umbrella sector of MSMEs, and tourism was just expected to be part of it. But that is okay for companies where, you know, there is an expected there's an expectation of some revival in demand, you know, like for example in automobile industry, you know, you can already see it picking up.
Yes.
But in tourism, that doesn't
number
happen.
The two-wheelers, four-wheelers.
Yes, it has gone up.
Two-wheelers are absolutely peak numbers.
It has peaked, and that is not to be expected with the tourism industry till 2022. So, you know, moratorium for the next 2 years is going to become absolutely critical. Otherwise, it will be very hard for some companies to sustain through this period. And also, because obviously the situation is such, it would be great for, you know, for us to have some kind of streamlined system where you can probably have health inspectors validate or give some kind of certification around the safety protocols, only after which companies should be allowed to open. Otherwise, you know, my fear is that if all brands start opening up or companies start opening up without any, you know, proper streamlined safety protocols, it could probably cause a rise, and that would just affect the industry at large. So kind of having some official validation by health inspectors would be great.
And do you believe that the budget travel industry will pick up first, or the luxury travel industry?
Sorry?
Will the budget traveler get back to traveling faster, or the luxury traveler?
I personally think it would be the luxury traveler. I would think that the budget traveler may, you know, again, like I said, even the luxury traveler may probably travel 1/10 of how he would spend otherwise, you know, because again, like I said, the scarcity mindset and the uncertainty.
Okay.
Prana, your final view.
Yeah, Prana, your final thought.
Pardon me?
What can the government do more to be able to help business and economy revive?
I believe what everybody has said, I second their opinion. The first thing is government has to act as enabler. To help the corporates grow business, it's a misnomer in India, Indian citizen thinking that government needs to provide jobs. Government's job is not to provide jobs, but to enable the corporate sector and the agri sector and the service sector so that they can generate jobs, they can provide jobs, and they can help economy grow. So government has to act as an enabler over here, do away with the hurdles and tax structures which make the job difficult for a corporate sector or service sector or agri sector to grow. So only thing is, in one word, I repeat, it is the government has to become an enabler so that economy grows. That is the only thing. That is the only thing government needs to do. Think holistically.
Okay. Okay. Point taken. Well, we're completely out of time at that point. My thanks to all of our panelists for joining us on this edition of the NewsX Business World Panels on the Indian Economy. Thanks to Dr. Batra as always. Let's take a very short break. Thanks to our viewers for watching as well.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.